Hello and welcome to another Teamo8 hand review. Let's get right into it. See what it's an 18-seat turbo sit and go again. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, and our player folds. Let's just rewind that. We've got a pair of aces, queen three. So we've got the second best starting low. We've got aces. One of our aces is suited. This hand should absolutely be played. Folding is the only way you could play this hand incorrectly. You could limp behind if you wanted to. I'd prefer a jam. And these, because like I've said before, in the early stages of these sit and goes, hands played have very little bearing on the final outcome unless you win a lot of chips or lose a lot of chips. And if you jam it in here, okay, you might only win a little bit, but you never know. You do get called often enough by hands that you totally dominate for a jam here to be profitable. And that's what I much would have rather seen. Anyway, let's move right along. Okay, here we are again in the big blind. Let's see what happens here. Okay, there's a limp. Another limp. Take a flop. Oh, this is interesting. So we flopped top pair, the nut low draw, and a gut shot. I wouldn't want to start getting too aggressive right at this point with that flush draw out there. Let's see what happens. Check. Oh, checked around. 6 repeats. Okay, I prefer checking again here. Our player does. Fantastic. Checks down. Okay, so we've made the nut low on the river. And no one's been interested in those 2 sixes out there. There's every chance that our jacks up are good here for the high. And we certainly can't lose the low. So I'd like to see a bet here, around 2/3 of the pot. There's 150 out there, bet out 100. Oh, he just checks. Okay, look, I really think a bet there would make a bit more money. If somebody else has got an ace-3, they're probably going to call. And given that no one's shown any interest in the high side of the pot by not betting on the 6, not betting or at all, yeah, I think a small value bet here, maybe as small as half the pot, but 2/3, given that it's a small pot, I think we could make a few extra chips in that spot. Anyway, let's move right along. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, our players jam nearly 10 blinds against an under-the-gun limper with king, 4-5. I think our hand is just a little bit too weak here to be jamming against that under-the-gun limper. I mean, it's not the worst play in the world, but if someone limps from under the gun, especially once we've got out of the first few levels, they've generally got something. So we're perhaps taking a little bit more risk than we needed here. A call, probably not great. Probably a fold would be a better play. We've got to adjust, even though the hand might be in the jamming range for the stack size. We've got to look at the action and adjust based on that. But anyway, if, by the way, if there's kings, if we had 2-3s for kickers, or the kings are double suited, then I'd be leaning towards the jam myself as well. Anyway, let's move right along. I think we've got one more hand to go from this player. Okay, here we are on the button with 11 blinds. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's a limp and a jam. Not quite the same as the one before where the same player limped and we jammed with the kings. But I think our hand, with 11 blinds in our stack, in these, because in these 18-seat sit and goes, I think our hand's a little bit too weak here. Really, we'd want, we've got that 8. I mean, apart from the fact that it's suiting the 5, it's pretty much dead weight in this hand. If it was a 3, then I'd be jamming that in myself. Otherwise, we've got a good stack. We don't need to take too many risks at this point. Anyway, if you'd like to know a bit more about what we do at Teamo8, check us out on the website, teamo8.com. Thanks and bye for now.